to game number 1.
And we are going to be kicking things off on Hardwire. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming out from Atlanta, France. Representing Root Gaming, we have DnS.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire ESL, we have the Brew Protoss player himself, currently teamless. It is SKillous.
Always puts a little bit of a smile on my face whenever I remember that Root Gaming is still competing quite a bit.
Yeah, it's great to see that Root Gaming is still supportive of their players. I know they've kind of had a bit of like a restructuring or reformation, I think it was last year, where they've kind of focused a lot more on like up-and-coming players and amateur players. But, you know, they're still here in the pro scene as well. It's cool to see.
Yeah, still supporting whoever they can.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if that support is going to really come to fruition. Again, DnS kind of has to overcome the unorthodox of his opponent. Maybe. I mean, again, we'll see.
Well, he could embrace the unorthodox as well.
True.
That's a sort of a solution, you know?
You're not wrong. I mean, it is a PvP, you know, anything is possible, mate. We could see a proxy Dark Shrine, could see, you know, other proxy like Stargates or things like that. We could see Colossus. I'm ready for it, mate. I'm ready.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, are you saying things that we could see or things that you want to see?
I want to see it all, mate. I want... Oh, God. I mean, we've already seen some of it, right? We saw Proxy Dark Shrine in the previous series. It didn't work. But, you know, we saw it. We saw it.
Yeah. It was there.
It was.
As SKillous actually opening up much like Showtime did.
Yeah. Once again with the Stalker Adept here, another kind of middle-of-the-road opener. I guess he is a little bit concerned with, again, scouting across the map with his Adept, and also has the opportunity to maybe sneak in and maybe get a couple of probe kills.
Yeah, always want to be watchful for that. DnS still being pretty vigilant across the map, though, does confirm that, yep, that's a Stalker, that's an Adept. It's going to make its way across the map right now.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, DnS did open up in a much more standard way, double, and it looks like he will catch that Adept.
That's the advantage of having two Stalkers. You're going to attack the actual Adept, and you can follow the Shade as well. So, yeah, SKillous, unfortunately, probably not going to get much scouting information with this.
Yeah, but I love the use of the vents, mate. The way that he was able to survive, kind of reduce as many shots as possible, keep the Adept alive, and still get across the map. Nice moves.
Yeah. Shield battery over here will prevent the Adept from getting into the main base once again. But he's still doing it.
I love looking at
this Stalker! This Stalker was right next to the Adept. I was like, what? Where'd he go?
It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon, mate. He just couldn't find him. The Adept somehow survives, and now SKillous comes out here with 3 Stalkers.
Yeah, and you don't want to underestimate the utility that this one Adept can have in the fight.
Oh my god.
Sure, it doesn't have as much DPS as a Stalker, but still, ooh. SKillous doesn't commit to that Shade, but he does see the Starport and will be able to potentially delay this. The Adept actually goes in again. The Adept goes in. Will he commit this time? He does.
He commits. We have an Oracle follow-up as well, as we did have a Stargate opening by SKillous. At the same time, so did we have the same from DnS, but we have a shield battery. We have Stalkers in position. SKillous will take no damage. DnS loses 3 probes.
Wow. I'm in absolute awe right now. He manages to pick off one of these pylons. Not the biggest of deals, but he is back, but he could not get additional kills. What's going on with this Nexus here? Okay, it's being defended against. Oh! But unfortunately, the Oracle was recalled right on top of the Stalkers. So.
That was a really unlucky recall. The Oracle of DnS gets completely shut down. Meanwhile, there's still no shield battery in the main base, so another probe gets picked off. Again, not a massive amount of kills, but this Oracle does have already 4 probe kills under its belt and is still alive.
Which is more than can be said for DnS's initial Oracle. Did make another one, though, so yeah, he is going to have that harassment potential and defensive stasis wards as the game continues.
Oh yeah, yeah, is set up here back at his natural base. SKillous can't really kind of bully his way into that natural node anymore. DnS, he's pretty well set up defensively, but again, did take a lot of losses early on. We can see that for the most part, things have evened up here. I guess the major differences are that SKillous does also have that Phoenix, so DnS has to be careful with that Oracle.
Yeah, can't be sending it in willy-nilly. SKillous actually being a little bit forward with this Phoenix. Trying to see if he can catch a probe as it comes down to build a third base, but that's not on the table right now for DnS. He is focusing much more on his tech and his blink.
Oh yeah, yeah, Blink is on the way for both players. SKillous does have a Forge on the way, so it looks like he wants to commit that much more to these Stalkers. Meanwhile, ooh, Proxy Pylon does get caught out here by SKillous. Nice catch.
Yeah, that's got to feel bad for DnS a little bit here. He had a plan of that. He kept that probe around. It just got shut down so easily.
Yeah, exactly. So there is no reinforcement point. Despite that, DnS is still pushing out across the map. He does have a decent Stalker count. He does have 3 gateways behind this, but so does SKillous. So when it comes to the production, we are equal here. DnS only has like a 1 Stalker lead, so again, it's going to be a little bit difficult to really press his advantage here at the natural.
Yeah,
oh
especially the shield batteries going on there. What? How does he keep getting away with this? Well, here's how. He used the Phoenix to lift up the 1 Stalker over there and just had his way with all of these probes. Nice reaction coming out here from SKillous, but the gas probes will be caught in the stasis ward regardless. Nice way of slowing down the economy of SKillous here from DnS.
I mean, it's something, you know, finally this Oracle has been able to pay for itself a little bit, but SKillous, he's pressing his advantage. He keeps on pushing out across the map. He does have a reinforcing pylon as well. He forces DnS all the way back to his natural.
That probe of 0 fear walked past the entire guard of the Stalkers over there, and yeah, as you were mentioning, there is a gateway over here for SKillous, so it will be slow warp-ins, but he just needs to continually warp in, and he'll be fine.
Yeah,
he already has a foothold here.
Exactly. He has to be a little bit careful not to overcommit here. +1 is still on the way for SKillous. It's not done yet. At the same time, Oracle dives into the natural base. Now 4 more pros have gone down.
Yeah, and probably more importantly here, he also forces a couple Stalkers being warped in at home, so they're not going to be at the front lines here. Despite that, look at the blinks coming out from SKillous. He is so efficient with them.
Oh my god, but how efficient can you be against Overcharge, mate? DnS with his shield battery, he will be able to hold the line, and now Stalkers are starting to fall left and right for SKillous. It's great that he kept so much alive with 1 HP, but they're starting to fall. Oh, but the reinforcements!
Yeah, 1 volley is all DnS needs on a lot of those Stalkers, but yeah, as you were mentioning, the reinforcements do come down, and SKillous is starting to overwhelm a little bit. DnS pulling the boys, but they are just going to go down once again. Another warp in here from SKillous should just about secure it.
Yeah, exactly. The shield battery is out of energy. We have another wave of warpings coming in here for SKillous as well. He did have an additional gateway behind him. GG gets called, and SKillous takes game 1.
Been a long time, like, since I was able to see, you know, such committed micro battle like that, a blink micro battle like that. And in the end, I guess SKillous does prove that he has the edge in those scenarios.
Yeah, I was a little bit shocked because, like, he was, again, microing his heart out against an overcharge. And I was like, ugh. Usually when you see an overcharge, you back the hell up. But he was like, no, mate, let's go. Eventually, he was forced back. But again, we had another wave of reinforcements. You know, it was DnS who was trying to sneak out a faster third base and trying to be a little bit greedier, whereas SKillous was the one who threw down 1 more additional gateway, had that additional production, was focusing a little more on his army, less on his economy, and yeah, was barely able to edge it out over DnS.
Well, I guess that's SKillous for you, man. Just no fear. He sees an battery overcharge being thrown down. He says, let's go. I believe I have the control. I mean, I'm just going to move a little bit away from your shield battery. What are you going to do about it, you know? I know you want to come in and take out my very weakened Stalkers. Just send your Stalkers forward a little bit.
Yeah, just come out of range.
My concave.
Yeah, just come out of range of the safety of that shield barrier, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, very impressive performance there by SKillous. Not just when it comes to microing his blink Stalkers there at the end, but even in the beginning, there's some people pointing out as well, like the initial adept, right? Like just shading in and out of that, like of that steam vent as well. Like it was crazy.
I almost forgot about that, yeah. I would love to see a Carbot animation based on that. Just Looney Tunes it up. Where'd he go?
God. It was almost disrespectful, mate. He was like styling on DnS, like, yo, can you see me? Like, what's going on? You can't catch me? And oh god, that was wild.
Absolutely was. Again, kind of not entirely, I guess, what we expected, but you know, still in the same ballpark of you know, what we understand of how these players like to play.
Oh, yeah. And we'll see if that continues here as we get into game number 2. I think probably to me, the most interesting thing here is that for a very long time, when we thought of European PvP, we thought of like more standard games that went into the mid game, you know, like kind of like a no rush, like 10 minutes sort of thing. But both series so far have been pretty aggressive, like from either side.
I think that's the impact of max packs in the region. Just forcing everybody to rethink how they approach PvP.
Maybe. Like, times are changing, mate. Times are changing.
And they are. We'll see by how much as we continue our series onto 2,000 atmospheres. This time, actually, LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, running all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of France. He is going to be representing Root Gaming. We have DnS.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the blue Protoss player himself, currently teamless. Someone pick this man up. It is SKillous.
This is a request that we are making on the behalf of of everyone, really. It's really is a shame that he's not on the team.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was on Root Gaming for a while, for maybe a couple of months, but yeah, at the moment is teamless, is looking for opportunities out there. And mate, he's a great player. Great player with also, you know, his own personality as well.
Yeah. Wouldn't be wrong. Wouldn't be wrong picking him up. Speaking of not wrong, we don't have a proxy this time.
Yeah, we don't. DnS is out here. I thought he was going to scout around the map, but he just made a beeline here. Does throw down a pylon. Again, kind of a pseudo proxy pylon. SKillous does confirm. Hold on. There's a pylon missing here. Like, what's going on? We can see that, again, it's not really... It's not a committed proxy or anything like that. Just mind games.
Yeah. Not really going to be utilized either, I imagine. Just as he said, you know, ideally force a bit of an overreaction out of SKillous here. Probe goes on a wild goose chase across the map.
Yeah, exactly. Again, SKillous just staying here in the main base, just making sure nothing else crazy is going on. We can see we still have Stalkers on the way for DnS. But, you know, maybe a little bit of worriment in the back of SKillous' mind that there is a pylon somewhere out on the map.
Yeah, it's just a way to make sure that he can't really be comfortable in the early game. Has to be focusing on, you know, looking at the minimap and staying vigilant instead of necessarily his build.
Exactly. Meanwhile, other than that, we have like pretty standard openers. We see double Stalker. What's interesting is that SKillous, he goes double Stalker into 2 more behind this as well. So he's gonna have a lot of firepower here with his Stalkers. As we can see, he is looking for anything crazy going on here, scouring the edges of the map.
He'll find it eventually.
He actually... will not.
Just doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, SKillous, he's looking every which way here for any kind of proxy, still unable to find the pylon.
All this probe finds is Stalkers and Def. Which is not ideal.
Quickly checking the vision, SKillous did not see the natural base either, so again, looking to be a little bit worried. We'll throw down a shield battery here back at home, just in case. We have like some 1-base aggression coming out, but here with these Stalkers, he should confirm the natural.
Yeah. But behind all of this, DnS does take a slight lead in the early game. And it can definitely add up if he you know, leverages it.
Exactly. Meanwhile, SKillous does have the greater Stalker count here outside the natural base, so DnS has to be a little bit careful. I'm sure SKillous ideally wants to try and focus down these shield batteries. Sorry, focus down these sentries.
Yeah. The walking shield batteries, as I like to call them. I guess they don't really walk, they kind of hover, but still. They move.
Exactly. Again, he's testing the waters. Behind this, SKillous did open up with the Stargate. First Oracle already coming out. Looking to maybe try and slip into that mineral line.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of distracting most of these stalkers. The Oracle is able to slip on in, activates Pulsar Beam, but the probes do move away.
Exactly, they will be able to escape. At the same time, force fields are thrown down. DnS, with the overcharge, is able to defend on 2 fronts.
It seems like a bit of an overreaction to me, but
yeah, I get
it. So you really want to keep the probes alive early on. I get it.
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, again, at least DnS, he's able to keep everything safe and sound. Was it an overreaction? Maybe, but like, will it really impact this? You know, is there going to be a situation where he needs overcharge and it's on cooldown? I think it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, at most it's like 1 chrono boost he's not going to be utilizing. It's not the biggest of deals.
Meanwhile, the double oracles pulling DnS apart. Oh my god, they just keep dipping in.
Yeah, I like that he's using them as a bit of a multi-prong here. You know, you can bring them together to try to one-shot these probes, but he knows that there isn't any shield battery to worry about in the mineral line, so yeah, he finds that to be a little unnecessary.
Yeah. And here we go. Finally, they're going to be looking to join forces here. Both oracles will unite. They will also come across the proxy pylons now. Finally. After all this time, he's found it.
And he says, you have a couple of proxy pylons. I'm going to do you one better and have a proxy gateway with my pylon.
Go, mate. DnS with the cheeky gateway out here in the middle of the map. That tells me that this third, I think, is just for show. SKillous did just scout this. I think what's fun, though, about this is that SKillous, he sees the third, he immediately does move out.
Yeah, so does DnS, though. So
yeah, they're going to be missing each other.
Messy. Actually, with that overcharge, does DnS have enough energy for a recall?
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he's got plenty of energy.
Yeah, he should be fine. We even have a stasis trap here. SKillous is already set up. DnS was completely out of position, and he decides to turn around.
Just like so. A base trade this early would not really be in his favor. It's a little bit more units as another blink battle does happen over here. Shield battery finishes up for DnS, so SKillous is going to have a trickier time coming in here. Ooh, forces a couple of warp-ins in the main base thanks to those oracles.
Exactly, even though DnS does have the higher stalker count, not all of them are here at the third base. Overcharge is popped though, and with the help of the overcharge, DnS will be able to hold on to his third.
For now. You can tell that the fact that it took hull damage is tempting SKillous. Yeah. He wants to finish it.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options here as he just continues to warp in, continues to apply more pressure here at the third base. Unfortunately, DnS just hasn't been able to use his gateway across the map. He's just too focused here, too preoccupied with the defense.
Yeah, SKillous meanwhile throwing down more stasis wards, trying to bait the stalkers into a master stasis, but DnS is not falling for it, mate.
Yeah,
he has learned from the mistakes of the previous game.
He's slowly being forced back as well. The Immortal does come out, and with the help of this Immortal, DnS should have enough firepower. Unless the stasis...
Oh, very aggressive blink, and that was the stasis ward that SKillous was looking for. Immediately jumps on top of the vulnerable Immortal, and now the boys are forced to be pulled. A lot of them can go down. The stasis ward will run out, and will the warp-ins finish in time for SKillous? Apparently they do.
Oh god,
they do.
Yeah, this is not a fight you want to be taking. DnS, he does end up losing 2 of his workers there. Sorry, 2 of his stalkers. He is going to try and warp in again, but again, did end up losing his Immortal. And has to be careful again. There is another stasis trap there, ready to be baited. But DnS, he holds.
Oh yeah. It's looking very, very shaky for a little while. Jeez. But he is able to utilize his higher production value, and he is able to outproduce SKillous a little bit here.
Yeah. I was real worried there. In the end, SKillous did also end up losing one of his oracles as he was trying to harass and trying to pull apart his opponent. But what's interesting is that DnS still maintains a very healthy worker lead.
Yeah, that's 6 more probes that he has that SKillous doesn't have. His oracle's still getting a little bit of value, so that gap is a little bit more narrow for now, but DnS is still ahead, regardless of what metric you're using.
Oh yeah, he's got the workers, you know, he's got the tech as well. The one thing that he doesn't have is that he does have a forge, but there is no +1 for DNS. So in a couple of seconds, SKillous will, or his Stalker army will just be better than his opponents. So DNS has to be a little bit careful here to not run into a bit of an anti-timing.
Yeah, but I'm going to throw out a couple of charge lots, which has finished up for him. I think they are done for SKillous though as well, so yep, they are. So that complicates things a bit.
Exactly. Meanwhile, DnS trying to force his way in between these bases. We'll be able to take an observer in a couple of units here and there, but with the overcharge, SKillous is able to force us back. And again, +1 is about to finish up.
Oh yeah, the tables are about to turn right now in our PvP.
Exactly. SKillous, he wants the fight at the same time. Oracle dips in. Actually, 2 adepts towards the third base. Oracle into the natural.
Yeah, pretty decent target firing from those adepts. Able to take out a couple of those probes. SKillous realizes he has the upgrade advantage. He really wants to make use of it, but he is cautious. He doesn't want to overextend. He knows that he has been behind economically for a while, so his opponent should have a higher army. So yeah, the last thing he wants to do right now is overextend and throw away his upgrade lead.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Stasis Trap was baited here towards the natural base. SKillous, without a reinforcement point, I don't know if he can really press the issue here. Despite the upgrades, it looks like he did end up missing his window. DNS, he's about to catch up here with +1, but finally, War Prism is out for SKillous. Now he can keep up that pressure.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit more even now, as you said, but still, it's better than nothing, I suppose.
Definitely made his charge is finishing up as well here for both of our players. SKillous trying to force his way through. With Archons, he's going to have a bit of a harder time here with his Zealots as every single one of them gets cleaned up.
Yeah, he just decided to stop producing Zealots after seeing them.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little adaptation to make. You know, Zealots, they're a great buffer against most units, but not Archons.
Oh yeah, exactly. Zealots, they just get absolutely cleaned up. Meanwhile, behind this, SKillous does expand, getting a 4th base up and running.
Built a cannon just to deal with that gateway. He did not want to even bother, you know, warping in any units back at home, which is a good call, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, speaking of warping in units, DNS has to be careful not to overextend. Overcharge was just used maybe a little bit prematurely there by DNS.
Yeah, players are now even on the upgrades, but SKillous has finally overtaken the army supply lead. Still has to be careful about these Archons. They hit hard and they defend hard as well.
Yeah, exactly. SKillous doing his best Showtime impression, just warping in nothing but Stalkers, and DNS is slowly falling here. Like, sure, he has a bunch of Archons, but again, they're just not the best unit here against Stalkers.
Yeah, they're being targeted and taken out one by one. That poor Archon almost made it to safety, but yeah, it was not to be in the end. +2 about to finish up with SKillous as well here, but I'm not even sure if it's going to matter. Like,
yeah.
I think SKillous has enough regardless to just take everything out. Even Blinks on top of the overcharged Immortal with all those Stalkers. Takes it out and takes... Wait.
Serious?
The series.